as we now understood the sorting related operations, now sorting was something related to organization, arrangement, or getting the data into an arranged format. But when it comes to filtering, now the approach or the meaning of filtering means filtering out the data, filtering out the elements. Now obviously if you want to filter out the elements, there will be certain criteria and conditions which are required. Let's say I want to see the data, analyze the data only for sales department. Now I don't want all the entries, I have a criteria, and that criteria is department as sales, and I just need to filter out the data based on that criteria, that is nothing but sales. So if I want to do that analysis or that type of organization or that type of approaches, I have an option known as filtering. Now filtering, there are lots of filtering operations. We have a simple filtering approach or we have an advanced filtering approach. Let's see one by one. But what is filtering? Filtering is a quick way and easy way to find and subset your data in a specific range or in a given criteria. A filtering range displays one row, it meets, or a specific number of rows, specific columns which you want to showcase when you filter the data. So there are lots of filtering options. There is a simple filtering option, there is an advanced filtering operation which is possibly available to us, and if you can see in image, I can filter out the data and get a proper result set for the same. So if we want to discuss something about filtering, let's try to understand that. So with the same data taken into consideration, let's try to understand the filtering operation. Now what is a filtering operation? Filtering operation, as said, it is a good way to subset my data. Now what is the meaning of subset? Grouping them, parting them. Now grouping, parting, or creating sections of my data based on what? Based on a criteria, based on a condition. So how I will apply a filter? As you could see in my data, there is editing tab as we discussed during the sorting operations, and in that there is sort and filter option. Many people say sort and filter are same, but it's not. So when I click on this, you can see there is a filter button available for us, but there is a shortcut key for the same. If you can see on the screen, the shortcut key is Control Shift and L. How I can do? I do Control Shift and L. I can click on that, or I do Control Shift L to remove the sort or the filter buttons, Control Shift L to add the filter buttons which are required. Now if I want to filter, as I said, I don't want to see the information related to all the departments. I just want to see information related to sales as a department. So when I go in the sales as a criteria, you can see there are options which I can select from them. Let's say sales, marketing, and so on. So that I can select. So let's say I'll do unselect. I'll go and do sales. But with respect to sales as a filter, you can see there are more filters available. That is known as a text filter. Now the data into my department column is a textual data. So obviously the filtering operations which I will be possibly working upon, it's a text related operations or the text filters which are there. So text filters equal to, does not equals to, and so on. So I can do it. But let's say sales and I do OK. You could see all the cells are not possibly shown to me. The data has been filtered out. Now filtered out means it has filtered and only the necessary condition has been given to me in the outcome. So what was my required result set? That I want to analyze data or information only for the department as sales. And for that only it's possibly available to us, and you could see a filter button there, and with that filter button it's a filter being activated on the same. Now the other column, now the other rows, what do you think so? Are they possibly gone from my system or from my Excel? No, they are probably hidden. Why? Because they are not showing any specific criteria which I want as true. So it has been hidden. So you can see first row, then there is fifth, then there is 15th, which means the row numbers within does not have a criteria as sales to be true. Now there is 25, which means within sales also does not have that criteria to be true, which was sales. Now there is 35, so you can see it was not being satisfied with all rows. There were certain rows of them, there were certain rows which were satisfying that criteria, there were certain rows which were satisfying the condition. So here if I want to remove the filter, I can easily remove it from here. So as filtering, as I said, as I discussed, that if you want to see certain filtered outcome, certain specific outcome, you can use the filtering operations. Now with respect to text, we saw that text filters and that basic filters, the selective filters are available to us. With respect to dates, what kind of filters are available to us? A date filter. And you could see the date has been given in terms of what? In terms of a hierarchy. Now what's a hierarchy? One level below another. Now if you could see, the data was everything belonging from 2023. So the entire information is from 2023. If there was another year, I could get that. Now if you want to see all the employees joining, all the employees who had joined on, let's say, all the employees who had joined on February, if I want to see that analysis, I could easily do that. So you can see these are the 2 employees who had joined in the month of what? February for the year 2023. So if I remove, so it's going to show me all the basic information which was there into my table. So filtering helps in terms of filtering out the data, filtering out the result set and getting a proper outcome for the same. Now if let's say I go on numbers, and you can see numbers there are lots of operations available. Now I want to find out those employees' salary, their annual salary, which is less than $60,000. Obviously I'll not go and do one check. Just say in the first value it's 40,000. Yes, it's less than 60,000. The second value 42. Yes, it's less than 60. 45 less than 60, 48 less than 60, 50 less than 60, 52, 55, 56, so on. It's a lot of manual task which I am trying to do, but I don't want to do that approach. So there is something called as number filters which I can take help of. Now what are number filters? Number filters will help me to add a criteria or a condition in terms of filtering instead of selecting one value. So here if you see equals to, does not equals to, greater than, less than equals to, less than equals to, between, top 10, average, above average, below average, that is available. Now let's say as per my condition, my salaries must be greater than 60,000. Now greater than 60,000 is what I want. Sorry, less than 60,000 is what I want. So here you can see it's 60,000, it's less than. There is something called as and or. Now and or will be required when I have multiple criteria. As of now it's not required for us. But here you can see there are other options available which I can consider from this. So 60,000, let's say, and I do OK. You could see that yes, the data element has been fetched where the salary is greater than 60,000. Yes, if you can see the outcome, it has fetched where the salary is less than 60,000. So this was the use case of number filters. I can clear it. If you want to find out the salaries which are greater than the average salary, obviously I need to find out the average value for the same. So I'll go over here, control shift down. You can see quick calculations which is there. So what's the average salary? 55,150 is the average salary. I want to filter out those salaries which are greater than the average salaries, or those employees' details which are greater than the average salary. So what I could possibly do is, I'll go over here, there is a number filter. So I got 55,150 as an average, so I can do greater than or equals to, but I can also do above average. Here I don't need to calculate the average value, it will calculate on itself. So if I do above average, so it is giving me salary on the basis of above average. If I do below average, instead of above, if I do below average, it is going to give me the salary below average value. Now let me clear this off. So I have cleared the filter. So if you could see that there was annual salary which was related to that particular criteria, that particular condition. Now if I want to apply filters or filtering operation based on the department. Now I don't want to specifically select a particular department, I want to go with a text filter approach. So let's see what are the different text filter approaches available to us. If I go over here, you can see we have a text filters as equals to, does not equals to, begins with, ends with, contains, does not contains, and then there is a customize filter option. Now let's say I do begins with let's say H. Now I don't know the department name, but I know definitely that it is going to begin with H. So I'm doing OK, and here you can see it is going to show me all the departments which are beginning with what? H. If I do Control Z, if I say that I want a text filter where the value begins with R. So here you can see which department is available for us, the research and development. Now similarly, if I try to remove the filter, if I say that it should begins with H, or it should begins with O and it should end with S. I have a criteria, it should begin with O and ends with S. So there is and, that it should beginning with O and it should have an end with the help of S. So begins with, if you can see, begins with what? O. Now there is an option of and or which you can select. So and, let's say if I do and, so it will check a criteria that it is beginning with O, first check true, correct. Then the next criteria would be checked that is it ending with R, so that's another check. If both the conditions are true, the answer is going to be true. If any one condition is false, there is no particular outcome given for the same. So let's see. And let's say I do ends with what? S. So the name of the department should begin with O and end with S. So if I do this, so which department is following that criteria? It's operation department, that it's beginning with O as a criteria and ending with S as a criteria. Now I can go over here in terms of text filter, customize, and if I do or. Now what is the purpose of or? Or means either it should begin with O or it is ending with S. Any one amongst the condition could be satisfied. So what I can expect from here? So here you can see human resources. It's obviously not beginning with O, but definitely it is ending with S. Sales. It is obviously not beginning with O, but definitely ending with S. Operations. Human resources, sales and operations, where the department where they are either beginning with O or ending with S. So this was the approach of and or the customized approach, a customized filter in terms of your Excel. So I can remove the filter as such. Now can I apply multiple filters at once? Because At once when we tried to do sort, it was giving me an approach where we had to customize and then sort on the basis of multiple columns. But can I sort directly on the multiple columns? Yes. Let's say I want to sort first the departments. I want to sort the customer service, the finance, the marketing and the production department. So there are 4 departments selected by me which I want to sort. Now I do this, so the data is possibly available only for those 4 criteria which I want. So the data is possibly sorted, the data is possibly filtered on the basis of the 4 criteria or the 4 condition which I mentioned. So other values or other cell elements will not be possibly available for us, because I want the filtering of my data based on the 4 criteria mentioned. So after that I want to just observe the certain elements, let's say a financial manager or a financial analyst or a customer associate as such. So I want only specific elements or the specific designation. So let's say a finance manager, I'll take a financial analyst, and let's say a junior financial analyst. These are the 3 elements which I want to be filtered out. Now how that will help? First the data would be filtered on the basis of department, then the data would be filtered on the basis of the designations, which are financial analyst, manager and the junior financial analyst. If you could see, you can see the finance department has all those approach, and the filter is applicable on the 2 columns which are mentioned above. Now if I say that the salary must be greater than 50,000, so if I go in number filters and I do greater than what? Greater than 50,000. So greater than 50,000, you can see this is how it has been sorted. So you could see this is how. So this is how the data has been filtered out on the basis of multiple columns, on the basis of multiple criteria. Now in terms of sorting, that was not directly available for us, but in terms of filtering, we can directly do this approach when I want to filter out the data based on multiple criteria or multiple conditions at once. So if I want to remove all the filters, I'll go in filters and I'll remove the filter. You can see the data is as normal as it was at the initial stage without the filter operations which are there. So this was about the filtering operations which we do with the help of basic filter approaches. So till now we have discussed about the basic filter operations which we could possibly do. But one of the drawback of filter, it could be that when it filters the result set, it is hiding certain elements. It's not showing us somewhere other, or it is not showing us at a different location that what data has been filtered out and what was the base data which was taken into consideration. So that taking that approach into consideration, let's try to see another approach in terms of filtering. Now what is this another approach? So here if you could see, I am creating another column, let's say department, and I'll definitely choose the same names. So let's say I'll copy this and I do department. So department what? Let's say I want to filter on the basis of a finance department. So I want to filter the data on the basis of finance department. So if I do by the basic filter operation, let me apply Control Shift L and I do department as finance. So you could see that the data possibly available to me is related to the finance department. So these are the employees who are belonging in the finance department. Now the other elements of my data source has been hidden. There is no other place where this approach is shown, or there is no other location where this result set is stored. So if I want to store my result set at a different location and my base data form remains the same, for that particular approach, let me try out something called as advanced filter. So first let me remove the filtering part which is there. So what I will try to do is, I'll keep my cursor within the table, and in the data tab there is an approach. You can see this filter is available because I have written Control Shift and L. I have used Control Shift L. So here in this we have advanced filter operation available. So I'll go in advanced. You can see filter the list in same place. Now what is the meaning of filter the list in the same place? That it will filter out the elements and it will be at that location itself. It is not going to show me the result set at a different location. But I want the result set to be there at a different location. So I'll do copy to another location. Now copy to another location in this criteria. Now what's the criteria which I required? The criteria is this. That is, now over there, that column name is very important, because from the base table it will try to check the column name and the value which you want to match. You want to match on the basis of finance, so it will be checking on the basis of finance. So it has considered. Now copy to. Let's say I want to copy to this particular cell or this particular value. You could see I can copy at that particular instance and I do OK. So when I filter, I want to filter on the basis of finance department, and you could possibly see that the data which is filtered out is on the basis of what? On the basis of the finance department. If you can see. So this has been filtered out on the basis of a finance department, but the result set is not available at the same place where the data was there, or other set of rows are not hidden. The result set is available to us at a different location. So that helps to analyze it very precisely, very appropriately. So this is how you do. Now if I want the department name starting from F, so how I would do it? Let me clear this out. So I'll do this. For clearing all the cells, you can go to the editing may clear option. Now in this there are multiple options available. Let's say clear all. Clear all will remove everything from the selected cells. Clear format will only remove the formats. Clear contents will remove the contents and everything which is possibly there with the help of delete key. Let me do clear all and everything is cleared. Now I want to filter out the departments which are starting with F. Or let's not take department, let's take designation, because there are lots of designations which are there. So designations which are starting with F. Now what is the meaning of starting with F? Means I don't know what is a particular title or what is a particular designation. I know that the designation of the employee starts with F. So I have written F and then star. As star, as I discussed, that star means n number of elements after that character. So how I would do it? It would be the same approach. I'll keep my cursor over here, go in the data tab, there is an advanced option. Here I don't want at same location. Criteria. What is the criteria? This is the criteria. Copy. Where do I want to copy? I want to copy over here and this. So you see, now the column name was designation, but I have written what designations. The column names were not matched, and because of that the criteria has not given a specific outcome for us. So let's try to do again. So advanced filter, I'll keep my cursor on this, Control Shift down and right. So there is the criteria which I want. So this is a criteria, and here copy to, now you can see I have to do copy to another cell. Where do I want to copy? I want to copy here, and I do OK. So now you can see the employee ID has been extracted. Just a second. So now if you see that I want to sort the data on the basis of designation which are starting with F. So how I will proceed is, I'll go first, I'll keep my cursor in this, I'll go in data tab again, advanced, and here if you see criteria, this is a criteria which I want, copy to another location. So it will give me the location where I want to copy, extract, and I do OK. So here if you can see the designations of the employees, now this hash is not an error, it is not fitting into the column width. So the designation of employee, I was not knowing it's financial analyst or financial manager, I was just knowing that the designation is starting with F. So here it has extracted that for me. Now let me clear it off. So let me select the entire thing and let me go in clear, and I do this and I do clear all. So I want the designation starting with F, or it should have something related to manager mention, which means the manager as an approach could be at the beginning, could be at the end, or could be in the middle, but I want a manager word to be available into my text. So how I will proceed further, that is, I'll write star. Star means I don't know how many characters are there before manager. It could be 0 characters, it could be n number of characters as well. And I'll write what? Manager, and I do star. So here if you see F star, that is either the designation should start with F or the designation should have a word known as manager. Now this statement or this approach is or, that in that column the designation can either be starting with F or the manager, or the word in the designation must be manager. So how I will proceed with this is, I'll go over here, I'll go in data tab, there is advanced, and copy to another cell. You can see the entire table has been selected. What is the criteria range? Now the criteria range which I required is this. So this is the criteria range. Now what is to copy? I want to copy it here, and I do OK. You can see the filtered outcome is what? The filtered outcome is related to a HR manager. I didn't mention that I want HR manager or anything starting with H or HR, but according to the second criteria, what it was, that there should be manager as a word available or mentioned anywhere within the text information which is there. So here you can see the data has considered, when you write one below another, it's an OR approach. Now what is the meaning of OR approach? OR approach means either that or this from that particular column. So either designation as starting with F or the designation name should have manager as a word written in them. And the outcome which we have got, you can see the designations which are starting with F are available, but also the designation which has somewhere manager mentioned in them. So this was the OR approach of my advanced filter. When you write one below another in that particular column, that's an OR. So let me remove this. If I do Control A, I want to remove the entire, I want to make this cells empty, so I'll do clear all, and here I want anywhere in the designation to be mentioned as manager. So this cursor will help me to just move the cell above. So as we had 3 cursor, one is to select another is to drag, and the third cursor is just to move the values to particular cells. So it is just moving the elements or moving the cells. Now I want the annual salary. As the column names needs to be matched, so I am just copying it up over here. Annual salary. Now what do I want? The designation must be having something called as manager, and I want and approach. So whenever there is and approach, you write one after another or one besides another over here. So what's an and approach? That I want the salaries to be greater than, so I'll write greater than what? 50,000. So what is my criteria in order to filter the data? The criteria is you have to filter the outcomes on the basis of the designation being having a word such as manager anywhere within, and the annual salary to be or must be greater than 50,000. So it's an and approach. When you write one besides another, that's an and. When you write one below another, that's an or. So here what do I want? I want an and operation. So let me keep my cursor over here. I'll go in data tab, I'll go in advanced, I'll go to copy to another cell, and here let me remove the cell range and this, and let me bring it back again. So the table is this for us. So this is the entire table which is being selected. What is the criteria range? Criteria range falls over here for me. So if it is written designation consisting something related to manager and annual salary greater than 50,000, so it's an and approach when you write one besides another. So copy to, where do I want to copy it? I want to copy it here. I do okay, and that's it. You could see that the designations which are having something related to manager is being extracted, and the salaries of those employees where the annual salary is greater than 50,000 has been extracted. So both the conditions are satisfied and maintained over here. So this is what, this is an and approach with respect to the advanced filtering operations which we do. So this was how an advanced filtering operation works, and it helps me to get the result set at a different level or at a different column which is there. So this is how our advanced filtering works. Now what if that I want this result set to be available into another cell, another sheet. So I have shift F and F11 which will add another sheet for me. So let me shift the sheet. So here this is the sorting and filtering, and I want this result, the result which I got over here, I want this result to be available in the sheet. So here if you see, I'll go over here, I will do advance, I want to copy to another location. So this is a cell, this is a criteria. Now instead of location, criteria range, let me select again. So this is a selected range. Now I want to copy to another cell. So I am going over here. I am not selecting any cell over here. I am going to the sheet 1 and I am selecting this and I do OK. It's going to show me error. Now what's this error? You can only copy filtered data to the active sheet. Now what is the active sheet? Active sheet is where the cursor is there. Now my active sheet where the cursor was there when I started the operation was sorting and filtering. Sheet 1 was a new sheet which I created. So I cannot copy this, but how I can do this operation? Let's make this sheet active. So I'll keep my cursor over here. I'll go in advanced filtering, copy, and here list range. What I'll do, I'll select list range, I'll go in sorting and filtering sheet, and from that I'll select Control Shift down, Control Shift right, so that's been selected. And then you have criteria. Where is the criteria? The criteria is still in sorting and filtering. I'll go and I'll select. So criteria is selected. Now copy to. Where do I want to copy to? I want to copy it over here, and that's it, and I do OK. So when I do this, you could see that the outcome, the filtered outcome or the filtered result which I have has been filtered out and made it available to the another sheet. So if you want to do that approach, first make that sheet active by just pressing the cursor and do the same operations which we did in terms of getting the outcome or the filtered outcome stored in another sheet. So this was all about the advanced filters which we wanted to discuss. So here we understood that what are the basic filters, how the basic filters implement. There are certain things related to text filters, number filters and so on. And then we also understood that how is the advanced filter approach working and how do we solve certain criteria or help to get certain result sets with the help of advanced filter. So this was all about the filter operations or the filtering criteria which are available to us in terms of the group approach. So this was all about the filtering operations or filtering task which we could do with respect to Excel.
Like this video, subscribe to our channel and comment on the concept you want to learn next.